Sick brain was hiding in my closet, trying to escape the reality that I was not even in reality. And sick brain was rocking back and forth on my cold floor, hugging my knees and hiding my tears. I was panicked and scared and overwhelmed because every noise, the dripping of the tap, the whirring of the air exchanger, and voices of police officers concerned for my safety hit me with the same intensity. I could not filter important noise from irrelevant noise. But they promised me they are good people, armed with compassion. They promised me I was safe. Healthy brain asks, how can you make such a big promise when the biggest threat is inside my head? How do you save me from that? Sick brain was seething with agitation, trying desperately to rip my sick brain from my healthy brain, but only hairs came out. The disease was embedded like mold to a ceiling, impossible to reach and impossible to bleach, even with the strongest of detergents, my pills. Insert. Pills I only sometimes take because when the bottle says may cause drowsiness, it really means you'll sleep most of the day, every day. And it's never silent. Those voices, they talk to me, they drown out every glimpse of reality I clench to. They told me to go jump off a bridge, so sick brain walked to that bridge in the frigid temperatures, gripping the blanket I'd slept with since I was 2. And I stood there, orbiting around death as I had so many times in my past. Life blurred around me as the yellows and pinks of my yesterdays were fading to black. I envisioned what heaven would look like, or maybe hell. I wasn't quite sure on that one. And despite it all, being restrained, taken against my will to the hospital, and uttering death threats to myself, I was deemed fine and capable of making rational decisions. Healthy brain asks what exactly is rational about bridge jumping with a blankie. So, the depression sunk in. My bones ached with a soreness Tylenol couldn't touch. I can't touch Tylenol anyway since it nearly killed me 6 times. So sick brain quit taking my meds altogether because that is apparently a tendency of manic depressives, and especially so with me, or so my psychiatrist says, who, by the way, took 13 months to get in to see. But healthy brain knows that depression is just the thief of joy and of life, and mania is just a balloon with so much helium I explode, and you say they're ants in your pants. Well, psychosis is believing they're ants in my belly, eating my guts, and I have no eloquent way of romanticizing or glorifying mental illness, because it is a ruthless nightmare that I can't escape. And no one gets it unless they're in it, and I pray they're never in it, because being in it is like being punished for a sin I never committed. I didn't sign up for this gig. But I guess God chose me to play this round of karaoke. So I'll sing. Healthy brain sings loud enough to drown out those voices that bind me, because healthy brain knows that even when the euphoric highs send me to the sky, only for depression to punch me in the gut until the wind I got from the sky is knocked right out of me. My lungs need that reminder of how much they like air. And even when my depression takes too many pills, livers regenerate for those in need of second chances. And even when psychosis tells me to cut off my right hand because it has done so much evil, my scar proves that I survived even that. And even if the only people who care are my dog and my pharmacist because she makes an awful lot of money off those drugs I only sometimes take, hey, that's still too. And there is still tomorrow. Healthy brain knows that death is not a mystery, so I'll stop trying to get there. But tomorrow is, so I'll certainly be there. Healthy brain knows that death is not a mystery, so I'll stop trying to get there. But tomorrow is, so I'll certainly be there. And yes, I followed that mystery of tomorrow because here I am, vying for tomorrow's breath and filling my lungs with today's air. This air pulses life in my veins as I run into freedom, breaking the chains of my past and obliterating the ghosts of my yesterdays. My yesterdays are punctuated with these ghost howls in my sick brain, but today healthy brain has the foothold. I am free, and freedom is arriving at school to learn and not to lust after death. Freedom is running at the gym to become a healthier me and not to run from my problems and lose sight of my dreams. Freedom is going to the movies with my friends, and when I say goodbye, it means see you later and not a final farewell. Freedom is counting sheep as I drift off to sleep and not counting each breath as blood seeps from my skin. Because after bouts of mania left my mind taxed and my visa maxed, and after the depression screamed murder in my ears until I listened, after this I was put to sleep. But the stigma picketed around the hospital I slumbered in by privileged and healthy people clearly could not appreciate that the very space they oppress is the one reason I existed long enough to write this poem. So, let me tell you a true tale from the psych hospital until you sit back and think that is not what they say it is. During mealtime, with plastic spoons only, I twirled the food around my spoon till I lost all will to eat. So let's move on. I won a game of bingo. After 21 failed attempts, my roommate and I blared the radio and danced in a room that didn't have a closing door. I joined the knitting club with laughter and a cup of tea because no caffeine after 2. I shot hoops with Jay in the AM and called Sonia in the PM until my 10-minute time slot was over. I had ripped jeans that one patient was determined to fix. You bought ripped jeans? So under close supervision, we were granted a needle and thread to mend the holes. But we all knew it meant more than just the holes. The nights we watched Disney and the afternoons playing Yahtzee with the sun yearning to soothe their internal pain. It was not what they say it is. What you call Crazy Town is a safe haven for the sick, a place of refuge for the broken, and it is an okay place to be. The mentally ill are gorgeous sunsets when the mosquitoes aren't bad. They are the midnight consolation you finally found. They are adventures, not ordeals. And I say they because it's hard to say I. That means I'm identifying with hatred. That means I'm being dehumanized to a piece of meat, ready to be devoured because I'm not neurotypical who fits inside the constructs of normal. So please remind yourself, I am someone's daughter. I glanced in the mirror and noticed my dimple didn't disappear. I'm aging. I have a gray hair. One night I told a friend if I ever feel depressed again, and before that, I told him when I feel depressed again, and in that moment I realized that subconsciously in my words I started to believe that maybe life wouldn't spiral again. My forehead lines are permanent, a testament to the days I spent laughing with those I thought would bury me before I ever reached this peak. That, my dear, is climbing a mountain and finally seeing the view, the fruit of my labor in full bloom. I am rags to riches. I am proud. Yes, I am proud. Manic depression came in the night, stole my dignity and light. I was a skeleton of sorrows. But here I am, fighting to regain my forgotten identity of passion and joy and intelligence. These DSM demons, they said I was worthless, taking up space, but I kicked them in the butt and said, no, I am here. I am deserving to be here, so go. So all this to say, if you believe nothing else, recovery is worth it, and so are you. Healthy brain wins.